1996. Laura Winans and Julianne Williams were murdered at their Virginia campsite and were found about a week later following an extensive search. The FBI announced Thursday that it had used DNA testing during a review of the case and finally named a suspect. That led to a positive match for Walter Leo Jackson Sr., a convicted rapist from Ohio who died in prison in 2018. Jackson was known to visit the park and had a lengthy criminal history, including kidnapping, rape, and assault. The FBI is now trying to determine if Jackson was responsible for even more crimes before his death. A convicted drug trafficker will spend 4 years in prison after police found him with a firearm and drugs during a traffic stop. 37-year-old Andrew Blaze of Bangor was sentenced in U.S. District Court in Bangor today. In March, he pleaded guilty to being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm and ammunition and possessing controlled substances with the intent to distribute them. According to court records, Bangor police observed drug paraphernalia in open view in his vehicle and recovered bundles of cash. Blaze also had a loaded handgun on him. Records indicate a further search at the Penobscot County Jail revealed 38 individual bags containing fentanyl concealed under his clothing. Blaze was prohibited from possessing a firearm because of a previous felony drug conviction.
A man arrested in Winslow after a standoff with police has been indicted by the Kennebec County Grand Jury. 52-year-old William Dolly was indicted for a domestic violence assault in violation of conditions of release. Police say in April they received a report about Dolly's wife hiding in a closet in fear of her safety. Police say when officers found her, she was hiding in the woods and they took her to safety. A 9-hour standoff with Dolly ensued. He was eventually arrested without incident. The grand jury also indicted a Vienna man accused of firing shots and smashing out a police cruiser window. According to the Kennebec County Sheriff's Office, 37-year-old Robert Locke was taken into custody after complaints from neighbors that he was firing a gun near their house, honking his horn and yelling at them. There was a protection from harassment order prohibiting him from having contact with them. After being put in the cruiser, he allegedly broke out a window and kicked a warden during a struggle. He was indicted on a variety of charges, including criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon and assault.
Well, switching gears now, high schoolers from around the state have spent the past week learning about leadership, state government, and even got the chance to speak to Maine's chief executive. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard has the story.
It's been amazing of learning how the actually government works.
So the Deergo State program is a high school leadership program that takes students from around the state and walks them through the entire political process based on the state of Maine.
For the past week, Maine students from all 16 counties participated in Deergo State and got to spend the week in Waterville, tackling every aspect of the political spectrum, including running for offices, participating in the legislature, and even hearing from guest speakers, such as Governor Janet Mills, on their political experiences.
So the governor is going to explain her kind of path to office, give them some helpful hints on bipartisanship, working across the aisle, topics and discussions that may not have gone so well.
Participants say there's a lot they'll take away from talking with the governor.
The biggest thing that I took away from Governor Mills was don't burn a bridge. Your enemy today could be your friend tomorrow, and I think that is true when it comes to not only politics, but real life.
Deergo State is put on by the American Legion and is open to all high school students in the summer between their junior and senior year.
So any potential student that would like to be involved in Deergo State, this is not just about politics. This is about leadership, empowerment, public speaking.
For more information on Deergo State, a link will be available on our website. In Waterville, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Keeping your garden clean and free of any insects and diseases is the goal for any gardener. In this week's Forecasting Growth, meteorologist Ryan Munn has some tips and tricks for you to grow the biggest and best plants possible.
Insects and diseases can happen at any time, especially to plants. Keeping a garden free of weeds and debris is the best way to do this.
Making sure you're going through your gardens and pulling out the weeds. The weeds can harbor a tremendous amount of insects, good and bad, so we want to make sure that we clean out the unwanted things that will reduce the pest and disease.
Tom Estabrooks from Estabrooks Garden Center says the earlier you clean out the weeds, the better.
So we have good pests that are in the garden that is attacking the bad pests. So it's important that, you know, we kind of harbor those on our good plants. So by removing the weeds as they're young, we will make sure that the good pests that are attacking the bad pests are going to stay on the plants you want them to.
Tom says cleaning weeds out allows for more airflow in your garden,
I thought those were roses.
which can be beneficial because this is the time of year problems typically start.
It's a nice warm day today. You're starting to see those disease factors build. The plants now have grown to a point where they're starting to all touch. They're putting on a lot of growth. So, you know, that's the time when we usually start to see problems arise in the garden.
Also, water your plants at the base and avoid using a sprinkler because splashing water can spread insects and disease.
Plants, you know, when they get stressed, they'll put off a pheromone that attract insects and disease. So, you know, limiting your stress on your plants by watering and caring for them really well is very important.
Tom says using organic products will help prevent diseases and insects in the first place. But if you have them, your local garden center has plenty of solutions. In Yarmouth, I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn.
So some really helpful tips there.
Yeah.
You know, I myself have been doing some gardening kind of for the first time, some vegetable gardening this
Yeah.
year. So it's been a really fun experience, but a learning one as well.
Interesting to hear, and I didn't notice that. You kind of know that plants can get stressed, certainly if they're not doing well, but that they give off a pheromone
Right.
when they get stressed. So above all things, don't stress out your plants.
Yeah, they don't deserve that.
No.
There's enough stress going around,
Be
especially with all
kind.
the hot temperatures that we've been
Yeah,
experiencing
talk
this
about
week.
stressful.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's get a first check of our forecast and see what else is coming.
Thank you guys. Tonight's first weather is brought to you by Pet Care by Lindsay. Pet Care by Lindsay is an in-home pet care provider servicing the greater Bangor, Waterville, Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, and Mid-Coast areas. Take a look at that radar right now. Doesn't look like much is in the area. Just a few scattered showers just moving through the region. Nothing all really too serious, but we do have a lot of rain chances on the way. We can see we are now getting to that scattered region right now, and it is going to go up a little bit. Looks like once we get into Saturday afternoon, we'll have a little break, but once we get into Sunday, the rain is going to come. It's going to be very likely, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as we go into tomorrow. But let's take a look at that overnight planner. Looks like we'll have some mid-60s to start off the night, and then rain will make its way from 3 a.m. going into those early morning hours with a low of 63.
Nice to see an actual cooling off this evening.
Yeah, that'll feel nice.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, a local Maine Army National Guard recruiter doing his part to stay physically fit while also demonstrating his patriotism.
And we'll take you to a welcome back party at the Belfast Community Co-op as they unveiled their new and improved storefront. Stay tuned.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, increased cholesterol, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Rexulti helped reduce my mom's symptoms.
Take action for your loved one. Ask their doctor about Rexulti.
It all starts with a Chevy truck. Chevy Silverado with the TurboMax engine and best-in-class standard torque. And Chevy Silverado HD with up to 14 available camera views. Do more in a Chevy truck. Get yours now. Current Chevy lessees can get this Silverado for around $359 a month. Or current Chevy owners get $5,500 total value when you purchase.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do.
Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
Sunday, it's a summer of stars as the U.S. hosts the world's best players for Copa America. The U.S. men's team looks to make an historic run. This is the championship of the Americas. USA versus Bolivia, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
A Maine Army National Guard recruiter is getting creative and patriotic. Sergeant Christopher Caswell was out on his Capture the Flag run this morning, an event he created and proudly participates in, getting some exercise while flying the Stars and Stripes. He says it's a way to direct attention towards recruiters.
So as recruiters, we're just trying to build morale and build awareness about the National Guard and American esprit de corps. So we pick local areas that we recruit out of to get some PT in, as well as run with the American flag to just make our presence known.
Sergeant Caswell runs 3 days per week in areas like Bangor, Old Town, and Bucksport, so keep an eye out for the running sneakers and the red, white, and blue.
The Belfast Community Co-op held a welcome back party to officially unveil its new and improved store. The co-op underwent some big changes during more than a year of construction. According to the general manager there, the store increased its retail space by 33%, and they also added a new space to accommodate the return of their cafe.
When I look around at other co-ops in the country, our owners are as dedicated or more dedicated than any other co-op in the country. So yeah, we are very lucky to be in the community that we're in.
Around 100 people, many of them community owners, stood behind the ribbon to usher in the redefined co-op. In the crowd were representatives from WIC, a USDA program that helps low-income women, infants, and children gain access to nutritious foods, and they say the co-op helps them do just that.
It makes, I think, the co-op a more inclusive place for all people in this community, and it just increases access to food for people who want to shop here.
According to Johnson, their kitchen will be finished in about 1 week.
Well, the Belfast Area High School offers an immersive experience for students interested in aquaculture, and they're hoping to expand so more area kids can dive deep into learning. Our Callie Warren takes us to the Belfast Marine Institute.
Belfast Area High School students are located close to the coast, and instructors at the school have worked hard to make sure students have opportunities on and off the shore.
They build the big fish pens. Here we're doing water quality tests.
The Belfast Marine Institute, or BMI, offers programs for students to learn the ins and outs of aquaculture.
And students are involved from the very beginning all the way to the very end, and that's what we find the most powerful.
An effort by educators and administrators could bring the ocean to students all across Waldo County.
We're hoping to collaborate with our local CTE program, Waldo County Technical Center, to offer a CTE satellite program in aquaculture here at Belfast Area High School.
The Waldo County Technical Center School Board approved the BMI to move forward with applying for a satellite program. Administrators will know in 6 to 8 months if they've been approved for more students to take the plunge into aquaculture. The Marine Institute hasn't been around long.
Really and truly, we've come so far in just 2 years.
But it's grown exponentially to include kelp farming opportunities and
then they start growing.
A wet lab for water testing. Instructors say the floating classroom doesn't just prepare students for a career in aquaculture, it empowers them to broaden their horizons and build on their skill sets.
That's what I find the beauty of this institute is that it appeals or can appeal to just about any level of kid interest, any ability level.
In Belfast, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Just so much to learn in that field, and just incredible that they're making it more accessible as well.
Yeah, we love people who are trying to push that educational angle.
All right. Well, coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, the fighting in Gaza intensifies as Israel's prime minister furthers his criticisms on the Biden administration.
And the Supreme Court issuing a major ruling limiting gun rights for some criminals. We'll have those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
The Make This the Summer sales event is here at Quirk Ram in Bangor. Save up to $12,000 on 23 Ram trucks or discover more power with the new Hurricane engine. Available on the 2025 1500 Bighorn. Lease for $599 per month. It's your Ram. Find it at Quirk in Bangor and Belfast.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping us save more money on prescription drugs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, our drug premiums are zero and our out-of-pocket costs are low.
I enrolled and I'm saving money. If you're single and make less than $23,000 a year, or are a married couple making less than $31,000, you may qualify and save. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes and More has a team of experts trained in pet orthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
When we say it'll be on time, they expect it to be on time.
Turn shipping to your advantage.
Keep those expectations with reliable ground shipping.
Thanks, Brandon.
With USPS Ground Advantage.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet.
Pick your summer adventure in a new Hyundai from Quirk in Bangor. With ample space and advanced safety features, lease the 24 Tucson SEL for $319 per month while enjoying 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. It's your Hyundai. Find it at Quirk.
If you've been injured, call Joe, the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Israel's prime minister has escalated his rhetoric with the White House as the fighting in Gaza intensifies. Fox's Alex Hogan has more from London.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now doubling down on his criticism of the Biden administration. And for the first time, he's now casting his policy rift with the U.S. as a personal dispute after the White House pushed back on his claims that the Pentagon is holding up arms shipments to Israel. On Thursday, Netanyahu called that a, quote, personal attack, but said he would endure it if it means Israel gets the guns and ammo. It comes as Israeli forces pounded Gaza and engaged in close quarter fighting with Hamas on Friday in what some are speculating could be a final push to complete the southern offensive.
We will not leave the Gaza Strip until we return all our hostages, both the living and the dead. We are doing this mission and also many other missions.
Netanyahu is also at odds with his own military about the best way to win the war, and a growing protest movement in Israel is demanding his resignation.
We want a new election. We want a government that works for the people, that is trying to bring the hostages back and to find a conclusion to this war.
Meanwhile, the temporary pier built by the U.S. military is now re-anchored and back in business off the coast of Gaza. But much of the aid being offloaded is not being distributed because there are no safe routes available.
Our children are hungry. Our children are all day looking for food on the streets. Our people here are starving to death.
The Pentagon says more than 1.4 million pounds of food was delivered to the pier on Thursday, but it's not clear how much of that aid made it to Gaza. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
The Supreme Court issued a major ruling limiting gun rights for domestic abusers. In an almost unanimous decision, the justices ruled a person can lose their right to bear arms if a court finds this person to be a credible threat to others. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
The Supreme Court upheld a federal law Friday that bans domestic abusers from owning guns. The case was a major test for the Second Amendment after the justices expanded gun rights in 2022. But this time, the court ruled 8-1 to disarm some citizens.
The court here is saying that this seems reasonable. It's a temporary denial of gun rights. It doesn't say that you could be deprived for life.
Chief Justice John Roberts calls the ruling common sense, writing in his opinion, since the founding, our nation's firearm laws have included provisions preventing individuals who threaten physical harm to others from misusing firearms. Justice Clarence Thomas was the only dissenter, writing, today's decision puts at risk the Second Amendment rights of many more.
This is one of those issues where now you have judges that are going to decide very differently across the country on who has the right to have a gun and who doesn't have a right to have a gun in their home to protect and defend themselves. And that is the concern here.
President Biden weighed in on the ruling, writing in a statement, no one who has been abused should have to worry about their abuser getting a gun, and called on Congress once again to take action to stop the gun violence epidemic. We're still waiting on more than a dozen rulings from the court, many of them on big cases, including Donald Trump's immunity case. And since the court usually recesses in July, we could see several major rulings come out on top of each other next week. Outside the Supreme Court, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
We're less than a week away from this year's first presidential debate. One candidate, however, says he was unfairly left off the stage. Fox's Connor Hansen has more.
A group rallied outside CNN in New York City protesting the network's decision not to include independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in next week's debate.
He has a message that people need to hear.
President Biden and former President Trump are the only two who qualified based on polling and ballot access. A Fox News poll released this week showed Biden beating Trump 50% to 48% in a head-to-head matchup. But in a five-way race, including all candidates, that lead shrinks to 1 point. RFK Jr. had 10% of the vote.
You don't want to have to answer to it and have a real independent voice that is going to speak, that is going to talk, and is going to challenge Joe Biden, is going to challenge Donald Trump on their record.
There will only be one debate before the candidates turn their attention to their party's conventions. The Secret Service says it has been preparing for more than a year, providing its highest level of security.
They require extensive collaboration and cooperation with our local, state, and federal partners, and the RNC is no exception.
The events tend to attract protesters. The FBI and police in Milwaukee say they don't know exactly how many to expect for next month's Republican National Convention.
We have no articulated threats, and we don't have specific information on what protests may look like at this point.
The Trump campaign released a statement saying the former president has no problem debating RFK Jr., adding that he takes more votes away from Biden. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, from coast to coast, millions of Americans are feeling the sting of a long mosquito season. Beyond the annoying itching and scratching, there are actually serious health concerns as well. Fox's Carolyn Shively has more.
Are you itching and covered in bites? You're not alone. This has been one of the most active mosquito seasons on record in the U.S. And while most people are busy grabbing the bug spray and repellent, some researchers are sounding the alarm about a possible new West Nile virus outbreak. It's being fueled by an unusually long mosquito biting season, which is being blamed on rapid urbanization, leading mosquitoes to skip their usual hibernation and just keep buzzing around.
If you just expose them to that little bit of light pollution, they will continue to bite and blood feed, and they'll continue to make lots and lots of babies. So that's particularly concerning.
Folks across the country are now being urged to take precautions, including removing excess water from outdoor areas and wearing mosquito repellent.
These are things we face every single year, and we have to be prepared for, and we need the public to be prepared.
With the possibility that this mosquito biting season could stretch into November, researchers are asking local officials to keep up their vigilance and keep hunting for the insects, even after the temperature starts to drop.
And most mosquito surveillance districts aren't collecting and testing mosquitoes and applying pesticides like spraying pesticides in the fall.
The CDC says up to 10,000 Americans are infected with West Nile every year. Only about 20% of those experience symptoms, but they're usually severe, including high fevers and damage to the central nervous system. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Law enforcement agencies in Tampa are cracking down on credit card skimming. The Secret Service is teaming up with local law enforcement agencies and private sector partners on a campaign to help keep consumers safe. Fox's Kylie Jones has more.
Most consumers probably don't even think twice about it.
But a skimmer could be waiting to snatch your card information at any register.
Today we're going out to about 100 or so businesses locally in the Hillsborough County area.
Teams of law enforcement officers around Tampa Bay are uncovering what lies beneath the surface.
The criminals that participate in this type of activity are very slick and very good at what they do.
And it can happen anywhere. We followed a team along on a multi-region card skimming campaign. In 30 seconds or less, Secret Service Special Agent Robert Engel says criminals can snap a card skimmer onto a card reader at a big box store, convenience store, or gas pump.
They have these devices that simply overlay on top of the devices that are already there.
And here's a look at one of those skimmers. Officers found attached to a card reader, targeting debit cards, credit cards, and EBT cards.
Inside the devices are electronics that capture people's information, to include Bluetooth devices where they can download the information after skimming someone's credit card or EBT transaction.
On Thursday's initiative, law enforcement officers also educated businesses on what to look for.
Explaining to the owners of these stores, or the operators of these stores, how it works and how quick and easy it is for people to do it.
Quick, easy, and lucrative.
It affects the taxpayer, it affects the businesses.
Teams on the ground are trying to cut the flow of money off from the source and keep criminals from coming back for more.
With this type of fraud, as prices go up, credit card companies have to increase their prices, the stores have to increase their prices, and we all pay in the end.
Concerning, and especially so when you see just how prevalent the issue is.
Yeah, I mean, cash is all but debunked at this point, so everybody's using cards and digital options. It does make you think twice about, having to insert your card and maybe finding some other modality like tapping or Apple Pay.
Yeah, it's good to see those other options coming along, though.
Absolutely. Well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, the Bangor Elks Lodge members went to Hannaford to pick up some much-needed donations for the community.
And a Bangor man is flipping a 400-pound tire 1 mile for the 10th straight year tomorrow. Why this isn't just for show. We'll be right back.
The place is on fire. Name That Tune is all news.
Freebird! That is correct!
Mondays on Fox.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Down East Toyota?
Oh, that's easy. All roads lead to Down East. Wherever you are in Maine, come check out Toyota's lineup of all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles. Whether you're headed up to camp or down the highway, go to downeasttoyota.com to find the perfect ride, with rates as low as 1.99% on select models.
So are you for hire?
Nope, I got a day job.
That guy looks awfully familiar.
No matter where you mow in Maine, all roads lead to Down East on Wilson Street in Brewer.
Hood milking you. It's why we do what we do. Day in and day out. Making milk you can trust, with no artificial growth hormones. So you can feel good about Hood.
When the Coach House Restaurant wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. The Coach House Restaurant, family dining at its best with fine home-cooked meals, delicious homemade desserts, and a large menu of tasty offerings for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap.
How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told.
I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
These local businesses would like to wish you a happy Independence Day, along with safe and fun celebrations all summer long.
Major retail chains like Macy's and CVS are being forced to close thousands of brick and mortar stores across the country. Fox's Kelly O'Grady has more.
This is not a small matter. This is going to change communities.
Well, over 3,400 retail stores are closing this year. That is a 22% increase compared to last year at this time. And Hollywood's iconic Arby's is closing after 55 years. The owners say in part thanks to California's $20 minimum wage law, while others are citing inflation as the cause.
Drugstores are not going to be there anymore. Restaurants are not going to be there anymore. So this is consequential, not only financially and from a real estate standpoint, but it's consequential in quality of life, availability of services.
Now, the top closures include Family Dollar at over 600 stores, followed by Route 21, 99 cents only stores, CVS, 7-Eleven, and more.
Retail demand itself, it was flat this past month. Consumer sentiment, it's at a 7-month low right now. Inflation is having a big impact on consumers' purchases.
There are a number of reasons driving these shutdowns. Poor strategy for one. Companies are also carrying a lot of debt. They're dealing with theft and the continuing rise of online shopping. Think about your own habits. Are you even going into a store anymore? Now, the former U.S. CEO of Toys R Us, though, says the biggest issue is the sales to cost ratio is out of whack.
Retailers have to generate same-store sales increases of 3 to 4% a year to be healthy. And if they don't do that, they can't pay the wage increases for their people, rent increases, costs of living, cost of doing business goes up by 3 or 4% a year.
Overall, retail sales only grew 2.3% over the last year, and inflation sits at 3.3%. So sales aren't keeping up with inflation, meaning consumers aren't buying as much. So while there isn't one reason across the board for these closures, when you have inflation coupled with weakening consumer demand, that means that dynamic impacts the stores that are already weak. They're going to continue struggling. In New York, Kelly O'Grady for Fox Business.
And back here at home, the folks over at the Bangor Elks Lodge were over at Hannaford and Brewer picking up some much-needed food for community donations. The gratitude grant was given to them for $3,000, which was to be passed on to a group in need. So after a poll, it was decided to donate through a partnership with Hannaford and Brewer, and they donated food to benefit the Burlington Food Pantry. The Elks say it's part of their mission to serve the community, and it also helps by giving them a great feeling.
When I see all the smiles on people's faces, it just warms the heart. It always does, yep.
Bates told us that they write 4 or 5 grants per year. They plan to serve 3 more community churches in the near future with more large donations.
Well, Maine is certainly known for its rich ocean waters. They provide luxurious delicacies that are known all around the world, and oysters are one of those. But their value goes beyond that of just their appealing taste. Emma Smith has more.
Harvested out of the Mount Desert Narrows in Bar Harbor off of Thomas Island, Bar Harbor blondes are known and loved for their briny, buttery, sweet, and savory taste. But what makes these oysters, or any oyster for that matter, so special?
Each oyster is really tastes like the body of water in which it lives. The French word for that is miroir, so the flavor of the sea.
And there's a reason for that. As Fogg told me, an adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day.
They're very much what they eat. So we're eating the natural phytoplankton and algae and things that are in the water when we eat the oyster.
So, not only does that make them beneficial to the waters they live in, but they are also a sustainable product that are seriously nutritious.
They yield a really high amount of protein and zinc and all kinds of minerals that you actually don't get from other things. So they're a superfood that we do very little as far as like feeding. They take very little energy to go into them.
However, Fogg says there are changes on the horizon.
The Gulf of Maine is warming faster than any body of water on the planet. It could mean many things, from different biotoxins or bacteria in the water, which could offer real challenges. It could also mean a shorter grow out. So right now all of our oysters are 3 years old. We might end up having a 2-year oyster that goes to market.
Oysters and their much loved merroir are dependent on their environment, but they're also a sustainable good neighbor. So it's a win-win for not only farmers, but everyone.
So one of the best ways for us to be combating the climate change we're seeing is actually to continue to grow shellfish and bivalves.
In Bar Harbor, I'm Emma Smith for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Really interesting to learn a little bit more about that delicacy. I had no idea how much water they filter through every day.
And I personally just love watching Maine fishermen and fisherwomen work.
Yeah, it's great to see them in their element.
It is. All right, folks, well, our full 5-day is coming right up. Stay with us.
All right, we just got done having an extreme heat wave go over our area and our region as well through Bangor, and now we do have a lot of rain on the way as well. I'll have more on that coming right up.
At Hood, our love for New England inspired New England Creamery. We make it with premium Hood milk and cream, then we overload it with the good stuff. Like Green Mountain Mint chip with a rich, fudgy swirl. Maine Sweet Blueberry with real, delicious blueberries. And Cape Cod Fudge Shop, packed with fudgy truffles. Hood's New England Creamery. From Hood, for New England. Try all 10 flavors.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain.
Roto-Rooter.
Adding comfort and beauty to your home for less is as easy as 1, 2, 3. During Renewal by Anderson's Easy 3Z replacement window event, the time to act is now, because Renewal by Anderson is making it easy and affordable with huge discounts on our exclusive custom replacement windows and our doors, along with special financing options so affordable you won't want to miss out on this event. And to top it all off, professional installation by our certified master installers is always included. Like we said, Easy 3Z. Call today.
Tired of your internet service constantly letting you down? Those other providers may promise the world with their flashy advertisements, but are you truly having a good customer experience? Fear not, because there's a new player in town. Introducing GoNet Speed. No more endless hold times or automated responses. We're here to listen, support, and provide you with the exceptional service you deserve. Our fast, reliable fiber internet, it's mind-blowing. Let us show you what true internet satisfaction feels like.
Fox Mondays, it's not about what you know.
How many total noodles are there?
It's how you think.
Do not feel ashamed. You're as stupid as I am.
The 1% Club, all new Mondays on Fox.
Thank you guys. Tonight's Maine weather is brought to you by Varney Ford. Varney Ford in Newport gives 1 full year maintenance on every new and used vehicle they sell. Come visit them and see their huge selection of cars and trucks. They are the nice car and truck people. All right, taking a look at that radar. Nothing too much going on, just a few scattered showers just making their way through the center of the state, getting into that Bangor region right now. But things are going to pick up as we go into the later night hours. We can see we do have a nice chance for some rain going into those overnight hours tonight, and we'll pick up going into those early morning hours around 7 a.m. And then things will decrease going into Saturday afternoon. So we'll get a little break from the showers. But once we get into those early morning hours Sunday, the rain is going to be very likely. It's going to be on the way. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. on as we go into Sunday. We'll take a look at the future forecast. We got those scattered showers moving through the area in these overnight hours tonight, and then we will start to see a little bit of dissipation going into Saturday afternoon, but then we do see in the evening hours it does pick up again, and that will continue into Sunday as well, as we do have a lot of rain on the way. So take a look at those future rainfall amounts. Looks like we'll have close to 1.25 inches near Greenville and Millinocket. Other than that, we'll just be a little bit over 1/2 inch near Bangor. Coastal regions will be around 1/4 inch. So other than that, looks like the center of the state will get a good amount of rainfall, with totals just getting over around 1 inch of rain, and things could change differently as well. We could see more or less coming in the next few days. Taking a look at those high temperatures for today, much cooler than we had the past few days during those extreme heat waves. Bangor with a high of 82 today. We see some upper 70s and low 80s by the coast as well, and we see a lot of mid to upper 70s up north near Millinocket, had a high of 79. So pretty good day overall today, temperatures-wise, compared to those temperatures we saw during that heat wave. And things will actually be cooling off quite a bit going into tomorrow as well. We could see 70 degrees near Bangor, and we got some much cooler temperatures near the coast. We can see 63 at Deer Isle, so we'll be a lot cooler by the coastal region, but still some pretty nice temperatures up north. We see by Clayton Lake, they will have 76 degrees as well, so much more comfortable temperatures in the area. Definitely for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we'll see some low to mid 70s, and then summer temperatures do arrive back in the forecast by Wednesday. We'll see a high of 85, and those will be a nice little warming trend coming in to the end of the week with some humidity on the way as well. Right now, it's not too bad, but it is going to spike up going into Monday, take a dip back into Tuesday and Wednesday, and spike back up as well by Thursday. So with those warmer temperatures in the forecast, always important to stay hydrated. Make sure you have a lot of water on you if you're outside during the warm temperatures out there and during the outdoors, in your area. But for tonight's forecast, low of 64 degrees, mostly cloudy skies tonight. We'll have some showers going through those overnight hours tonight in the morning. And then going into tomorrow, we'll have a high of 71 degrees, mostly cloudy with some scattered thunderstorms possible as well. And winds will be from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then taking a look at your extended forecast, got a pretty stormy next few days, and then temperatures are going to warm up by the end of the week into the mid 80s.
All right, well, so hopefully it won't be a total washout this weekend, but we certainly could use the cool down.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Well, sports is coming up next. Stay with us.
It's time to bring the family and friends to Fort Knox. One of the best preserved and most accessible Civil War forts in the nation is right in our backyard, just off Route 1 across from Bucksport. Open every day, May through October, rain or shine. Check our website for details.
Down to the shore or up to the mountains. Before you can get there, you've got to get here. Your Ford Dealers Great American Sales Event with special 4th of July deals. Like select F-150 trucks with 3.9% financing for 60 months, plus up to $500 bonus cash. So get the truck you've always wanted. Ford F-Series, including the all-new F-150 and Super Duty. Drive home select Ford F-150 models with 3.9% APR for 60 months, plus up to $500 bonus cash for qualified buyers.
Refine, your local expert in window and door installation, carpentry repairs, and commercial facilities management. At Refine, we're proud to offer Maine-made Paradigm windows crafted with care and precision to ensure quality and durability like no other. From quaint cottages to bustling businesses, let us refine your space with our signature Maine-made touch. Trust Refine to exceed your expectations every time. Contact us today and let Maine craftsmanship elevate your home or business. Rise with Refine.
Hood milking you. It's why we do what we do, day in and day out. Making milk you can trust, with no artificial growth hormones. And we protect Hood milk with our light block bottle. We care about our milk because we know how much you care about what you give your family. So you can feel good about Hood.
Did you know that the Penobscot Narrows Bridge Observatory is the tallest in the world, with the fastest elevator in New England and 360-degree views from 420 feet up? Open every day, May through October. Check our website for details.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by Triumph Professional Cleaning Services, providing outstanding commercial cleaning services to Eastern and Central Maine. Triumph Professional Cleaning, creating an environment of cleanliness.
Hey everybody, Ryan Sudol here. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with the big day down in Boston. A day 16 years in the making, the Celtics' big old duck boat championship parade. On Friday, players, coaches, executives, and their families, plus some former players, rolling from the Garden down to Boylston Street in front of reportedly over 1 million fans eager to see their heroes even for just a few moments. Although it did not culminate in any big speeches from anybody, the crazy crowd was more than willing to let their voices heard. Take a listen.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now.
I took off work to be here, and my boss supported it.
This is their first parade. This is our first parade, so she enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Celtics. Good job, Tatum. I love you.
I just want to see the boys come through on the parade. Who brought us here, baby? The best fans in the world right here. The vibe is all good. I mean, everyone's here having a good time today.
Looked like an absolute blast. Now let's get local. Tomorrow morning, Bangor's Mike Laliberty will be walking a mile to benefit Maine Veterans Project. It should take him around 2.5 hours. Think that's amateur hour? Well, take a look at this.
The 10th year in, hopefully have a best time. I'm ready.
A year's worth of training will once again culminate Saturday morning with Bangor's Mike Laliberty's 10th annual Tire Flip Challenge.
I'm shooting for this year 2:38.56, which will be 2 hours faster than the very first time I did it.
Laliberty flipped this tire a mile up and down Maple Street for the first time in 2015, infected right leg and all. And it all started out of spite.
I was talking, said, I bet I can flip my tire a mile. And they're like, there's no way. There's no way that's going to happen. And I was like, oh, really?
He didn't finish his first go at it and had little desire to do it again. But a fire would soon swell.
A couple weeks later, I was like, man, I bet I could do that faster. The following year was faster again, and it's been progress ever since.
And it actually got better for Laliberty when that bad leg was amputated.
The only thing it really did was cause me pain. The prosthetic, an improvement, big time.
The event improved as well, from Laliberty doing it just because to for a cause. The Maine Veterans Project starting in 2021.
My dad's a veteran, and they get looked to the side sometimes, so anything we can help is better.
With sponsors galore and individuals donating, over the last 4 years, the flip has raised over $75,000.
I mean, I might do the actual lifting, but it's everybody's donation. The generosity of the community for the Maine veterans the last 4 years is great.
Don't sell yourself short, Mike. That lifting is just as impressive.
Holy moly. I lifted it up.
You know, don't let other people put limitations on what you can do. I don't know what you're capable of. I don't know you.
My back still hurts a little bit from that. Now let's head down to Falmouth. The action continuing at Falmouth Country Club in the second annual Drive for Kids Celebrity Golf Tournament. On Friday, sponsors and honored guests getting to play with the celebrities for the event's Pro-Am. Among the 36 stars is Maine native Patrick Dempsey, who says that while helping local ill children, the event fills a void for the many retired athletes competing. One of these athletes is former quarterback Matt Ryan, whose wife is actually from Falmouth. He could not think of a better way to have fun and help others.
It's good for everyone, especially with the retired athletes. They need to be competitive. They thrive off of that fellowship and the teamwork. And when you're doing a scramble, it's really all about the team.
It's a lot of fun to be able to come out here and play and get to meet some new people. And we've got ties as a family back to this area. And so anytime you can help give back and have some fun doing it, it's always special.
All right, let's close out with another Boston team having a bunch of success. The Red Sox looking for a season-high 6th win in a row Friday night as they visit the Cincinnati Reds. If you like homers, this was the game for you. Top of the second, Reds lead 1-0 until Connor Wong takes Andrew Rabbit to deep left field, just clearing the wall. We are tied up at 1. Bottom second, the Reds' Jonathan India facing Cutter Crawford, and there's a shot into deep left. Another solo home run. Second of the game for Cincy. They lead 2-1. Game of ping pong here, top of the third, and Jarrett Duran golfs this one towards the right field seats. It's gone. Tie ball game again, and it continues. Next half inning, Jamer Candelario up, lifting it into right field. He had the first homer of the game, and here is his second. Reds go up 3-2. They win it 4-2 and 5-2, ending the Sox streak. Sports will be right back after the break.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
Hello, fellow flyers. I'm the Savvy Traveler, here to share the secrets of convenience at Bangor International Airport. Parking, you're steps away from the terminal. Inside, even more conveniences. And friendly, efficient security. All of these make BGR the official airport of you. Remember, the Savvy Travel through Bangor International Airport. Flybangor.com.
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, increased cholesterol, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Rexulti helped reduce my mom's symptoms.
Take action for your loved one. Ask their doctor about Rexulti.
Our biggest challenge? Uncertainty. Hidden fees, surcharges, who knows what to expect.
Turn shipping to your advantage.
Keep it simple with clear upfront pricing.
With USPS Ground Advantage.
I've been with US Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at US Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet.
Season 7. It's the musical game with the bestest prize. Beat Shazam, all new Tuesdays on Fox.
Earlier tonight, we were live on the road in Dover Foxcroft, and it's on the eve of their wildly popular Whoopee Festival. But this year's festival will pack a little bit more of a punch. Live wrestling is coming to the Whoopie Pie Festival this weekend. Our David Ledford has more.
I think it just opens a lot of people's eyes to how much fun pro wrestling can be in a live experience.
It's action-packed. It's dramatic. And Saturday in Dover Foxcroft, it's free.
You might get hooked after the first time.
Limitless Wrestling is the newest addition to the town's Whoopie Pie Festival, and the group hopes to make a lasting impression on a new audience.
I'm sure a lot of the people who we're performing in front of, they're going to see wrestling for the very first time. To have that, to be able to be the ones to give that first impression of what it is, it's a cool position to be in.
The team of nearly 30 wrestlers has been performing across Maine for just over 8 years.
Being in the ring and being around the guys it's a lot of fun. You know, it's entertainment, it's a sport, there's drama there.
And for some of the wrestlers, it's even more than that.
It's something that's helped me get past so many of my own mental hurdles and stuff like that. I've gained so much confidence purely from pro wrestling.
If you find yourself itching for more after the final round, there are opportunities to get involved both in and out of the ring, including at their brewer headquarters, where beginners can learn the ropes from the ground up.
There is avenues for everyone to be involved, whether it's being a manager, wrestling, refereeing. The biggest thing that I stress about wrestling is that wrestling is for everyone.
To learn more, visit limitlesswrestling.com.
Once you do it once, you're going to want to come back and do it again.
Saturday's performance will kick off at 11:30 a.m. next to the town's Consolidated Communications Building. In Dover Foxcroft, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And that does look like an incredibly fun time. And even after the whoopie pies have come and gone, the streets and sidewalks of Dover Foxcroft will stay alive with activity. Just a week after the festival wraps up, East Main Street will transform into a vibrant canvas for a first-of-its-kind event that combines art and history. People of all ages are invited to unleash their inner artist for the Chalk Walk, where anyone can put their designs on the pavement. But organizers say it doesn't end there. The walk will also have historical tours and live demonstrations lining the streets.
The pandemic was hard on Ice Dance International was putting down synthetic ice to have students from the Bangor, Dover, Foxcroft area come and show how to ice skate on synthetic ice in the summer. We have a potter from Roseline Pottery. There will be a broom maker. She makes fantastic, beautiful brooms.
The Chalk Walk will run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on June 29th. To learn more, visit our website, foxbangor.com.
Well, an organization in Bucksport has been archiving films and videos for nearly 4 decades in order to preserve an image of day-to-day life for future historians. Devin Dagnall has more in this week's Destination Devon.
When you look at history, you're reading books or you're looking at newspapers, but you have a chance to see actual moving images of those events, of those times, but you have to save them.
Since the 1980s, the dedicated team at Northeast Historic Film in Bucksport has been inspecting, cataloging, and archiving film from all over New England with a heavy focus on films from and about Maine. The NHF collection is the home of tens of thousands of films and videos ranging from theatrical releases to home videos from as far back as the early 20th century. NHF Executive Director David Weiss hopes the ever-expanding trove of media will one day be used by future historians to glimpse into the past, but he also explains the films archived can help the people of today work through their own problems.
It's useful to have some perspective to know that people were really concerned about polarization in the country 50 years ago. People were battling over issues 50 years ago and they're battling over them today. I guess I don't know if it makes you feel better or worse, but it does give you a sense of it probably will just be able to keep going, you know.
The success of the archive is in part thanks to the hundreds of people who have donated over the years. Weiss encourages anyone who may have footage of their own, whether it be historic film, home videos, or DVR recordings, to donate it to the archive because no matter how insignificant it may seem, it can still help complete a picture of New England.
The sort of giant jigsaw puzzle of the 20th century, they probably have a piece of it. You were the only one who had the perspective to take the things you did. In a broader sense, as time goes on, they become a record of the way things were that I think it's important to hang on to.
In Bucksport, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
We do love our glimpses into history, don't we?
We do,
Yeah.
and it makes you think about, how many home videos are just sitting away in people's storage that, that would be of great value to these historians and future historians as well. So a great opportunity to kind of add to that as well.
Yeah, think about what's sitting in your closet gathering dust.
Yep.
All right, folks, well, that is going to do it for us from everyone here at Fox 22 News. Take care and have a great night.
Good night. Have a great weekend.
This summer,
I'm sweating.
the competition is heating up.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less.
Every weekday
on Fox 22.
Tax audits, tax